So there's a new state-of-the-art stadium that is actually here in Wilmington now, and it's just taking over. It's one of the biggest concert venues that we have in the state, and it is just simply amazing. But most of all, who we have here is the voice behind "The Revolution is Coming," Joe Richmond, the ambassador of basketball.
What's going on, Big Eye?
What's happening, bro? Welcome to the Wilmington Show.
I've never been able to do that. I actually am better at basketball than you would think I am.
Oh, okay.
Which is not to say that I'm good, but I'm just better than you would think.
Okay.
But I can't do that. I don't know how you
when I
do
look at you, you look like a Scott Skiles type dude. I don't know if you remember Scott Skiles.
Yeah, I'm not quite as good as Scott Skiles.
Yeah, but he looked like he couldn't play for nothing. Right, and he was just amazing. You're just easy.
Steve Kerr too. I mean,
right, yeah, but Steve was more a little stout. You more, you know, I mean, Steve was a little more put together. You more Scott. Scott just looked like he didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So welcome to the Wilmington Show, man. Delaware Blue Coats, new stadium, new name, new everything.
You know, Ivan, 5 years in the making, and we're here. Mm-hmm. This is what I love. The Harris Blitzer, BPG, these guys put together a plan and they just went for it.
Right.
And you know, it's something of that magnitude, there's a lot of moving parts. Right. And I've never seen something move so fluid. From the outside looking in, just like anything else in a relationship, a job, or a new house, you would think, oh, wow, but it just, everybody worked together hand to hand to make this come to fruition.
So tell us about the new stadium. What's it like? Tell us about the field house.
Oh, the 76ers field house is beautiful. When you first walk into the atrium, it just blows you away. The steps leading up to the VIP area is just amazing, and they're multifunctional. Those step areas is a reason why they did them the way they did.
I was wondering.
Yes, it's not. You wonder why it's a straight set and then a flat part. Yeah. Because of the access to the soccer fields. We were really.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Soccer fields.
Yes, there's going to be soccer fields. There are going to be all kinds of fields out there for baseball and training and lacrosse and rugby.
So this is all happening like outside the field house?
No, it's inside the field house as well.
Okay, so we're talking about indoor soccer?
Yes, they're going to have a little bit of
indoor lacrosse, like box lacrosse?
Rugby,
cool.
Baseball training, football training, all inside.
Oh, so, okay, all right, I get it now.
Right, that's why it's called the field house.
This thing's a sports complex.
Yes, it's BPG Sports.
And it's right there on the riverfront. That's
beautiful.
Pretty good. Yeah, no. So how are the Blue Coats doing? How are the Blue Coats doing so far?
You know, the one thing about the G League and the one thing about us in particular, we're right in the middle of the pack. And the main two reasons because that we're really first playing home games. You know, we play some games at the beautiful Bob Carpenter Center. We thank them for all the phenomenal things they've done for us. We play some games where the Sixers home is at the Wells Fargo Center. But now the players, the coaches, they have a place to call home. And really, we've pretty much been on the road until January 23rd when we opened up the beautiful facility. Yeah. And now the players, you can see it is a different look. And the main thing is our two-way players, they've been with the Sixers a great deal of time. So that's really what's been the challenge for the coaches and the players to make that adjustment when Shake Milton, Haywood Highsmith, when they go up with the Sixers, who do we have to incorporate now? Right. And then there's always the injury part. So if you look at all that going on, we are right where we really want to be, but right where we really need to be at, so to speak. Right. You know, because we always want to be at the top. But because of all these moving parts within the team and all the things that go on with the agreement as far as contracts with the two-way players, those are the challenges that the coaches face. But we've handled it phenomenally. They've done great. And we're right on the cusp. We might make the playoffs. It all depends on if we have our players, if they go with the Sixers and come down. It all plays out in a certain way.
Sure. The G League used to be called, just a little history, the G League used to be called the D League.
The developmental league.
The developmental league. So they would develop, and then they would go, if they were lucky, they go to the NBA.
Right. It always started off going to the NBA because you always started off with the two-way players. Right. The other part was for the other players that were coming over from Europe or right out of college or free agents that were trying to get back into the league, like a Nate Robinson. We had him, a Shannon. Yeah. We had Shannon Brown from Lakers. We had him. A Emeka Okafor. We had him. Right. So those guys guys were trying to work their way up to get those contracts, getting into a playoff team and things, which Emeka Okafor did with the New Orleans Pelicans when he got called up.
Right.
So let's talk about the energy. You know, you've played a few games there now, five games. What's the energy like in this field house versus, you know, what you're used to?
I know I'm gonna get it. I might get a letter in the thing at my office. I know I'm getting it, but I'm gonna tell you what they need. They need about 5 more defibrillators in the building. Clear. You know what I mean? Because it is phenomenal. When you come in, there's a DJ from last night. The Sixers are phenomenal, world renowned. I mean, all throughout the league, they're coming in.
How often are the games? You know, what's the season look like? How often are there games? And what, you know, kind of just tell us, like, if you want to start becoming a Blue Coats fan and come out, what's it like?
Oh, you just got to come out right now. And I know everybody in the sound of our voice is listening to the show. We got about maybe 15 plus more home games left, around 17, 18 games. We got about 7 or 8 left on the weekend, Friday and Saturday. We got Faith and Family Night on March 22nd, which is a great night. We have a wrestling night coming up because we always do like the theme games. Yeah, you know, Ivan. So, you know, 76ers.com /Blue Coats. Tickets are family friendly. The tickets are so good. You get a ticket from 10 on a weekday to 12 on a weekend, from anywhere to 40 to 50 cents on. Yes, and the prices are so great. It's just, you just want to, when you come in, we have the shoot around for the kids, the inflatable shoot around. Right. We have the wiffle ball, so your kids can go and have some fun, and mom and dad can still watch the game and not be worried about where the kids are at.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So we know the Blue Coats, but what a lot of people don't know is Joe Richmond. They see Joe Richmond all day long with the Blue Coats gear, but they don't know something special about Joe Richmond. Tell them what it is about Joe Richmond.
As I am the ambassador of basketball for your Delaware Blue Coats, I first toured the world with the world famous Harlem Globetrotters. And that's why I'm always having a basketball in my hand. That's why I always like to spin. I used to do it with a red, white, and blue ball. Now I got a white and blue ball. Yes, sweet Georgia Brown.
How was that experience?
I said, outside of being married and having my children, you know, this being with the Globetrotters was the best.
Right. So I've watched some Globetrotters. Are there really guys who can reliably make half-court shot behind their back on the Globetrotters? Because if so, like, why don't the NBA teams just, like, get that guy for a special purpose, right? Like bring him in. He's just on the end of the bench. You're like, I just need a half-court shot right now. Just spin it over behind your back. You bring out, like, the 48-year-old man.
Yo, because we're going to be like $15 million a year.
Because you just need a guy who can make that shot.
Yes, and these guys, they are perfectionists.
Oh, yeah.
They really are. That half-court shot that was so relevant when the Meadowlark Lemons of the world were still there and the Geese Osby were still there. And now these guys, this younger version, they know they craft. Thank God for YouTube and some things. Also, you can go back and really look and see the detail. And these guys are very detailed on what they do.
Right.
And they have a great love for the children. That's why they do what they do every night with a smile on their face.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much for coming to the Wilmington Show. This is really exciting. We want to have you back. I know I have a lot more questions about Globetrotter history and stuff like that too. But yeah, thank you for coming, and definitely head over to the 76ers Fieldhouse on the riverfront. It's a brand new state-of-the-art facility
this Saturday,
for basketball.
7 p.m.
Yep. Also this Saturday, 7 p.m., depending on when you watch it. All right.
Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any positive stories that Zach and myself need to talk about, be sure to submit it at stories.wilmington.love.